Oh man, the great thing about seeing a movie like Star Wars opening night is the energy of the audience. As soon as the Lucasfilm logo comes up, everyone's clapping. It's just like, yeah. But then when the title shot comes up, everyone's just freaks out because it's Star Wars. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And I'm actually going to switch hats here because it is Christmas, after all. Kind of. Okay, so obviously this film is going to be a little hard to review because of spoilers. So I'm just going to tell you my thoughts by being as vague as humanly possible. Basically, what we know and what I feel freely I can talk about are the characters in this movie, mostly the new characters in the Star Wars universe. It was no real secret that Finn, played by John Boyega, and Rey, played by Daisy Ridley, were going to be pretty much a very big part of this movie, and they really are the two main characters. Rey's a scavenger on the planet Jakku, and Finn, as we know, is a stormtrooper with the First Order who decides to not do that anymore. Well, the two of them kind of just run into each other and end up being a part of this whole space adventure. We also know in terms of good guys and bad guys, there's the First Order, which we know there's Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver, Captain Phasma, played by Gwendolyn Christie. And then there's also the Resistance, which Oscar Isaac's character Poe Dameron is a big part of. And obviously we know what's going to happen between the two. There's going to be some fighting going on. So yeah, it's pretty much all you're getting plot-wise. Just in terms of characters alone, this movie is filled with great ones, especially, again, the new characters who are very memorable, written very well, and also acted very well. Daisy Ridley and John Boyega do carry the movie a lot. It does feel like an ensemble piece at times, but the two of them also together have great chemistry, but then also have good standalone scenes, and they're just, again, amazing actors. They are really the ones who get the most screen time. Han Solo, obviously, is in this a bunch as well, and we'll get to, to him in a minute. But there are a bunch of characters like Poe Dameron, Captain Phasma, who may not get as much screen time as you like. But I still think they're pretty good introductions to the characters, especially with Poe Dameron. You do get the sense that he really is kind of the Han Solo-like character in this new trilogy. And you get a taste of it in this movie, but you know that they're gonna hopefully follow through. I'm hoping in the next one that we're gonna see a lot more of him because how can you not like him? He's so sassy. And in terms of bad guys, Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver, is really good bad guy for this movie. Can't get into too much detail without spoiling, but essentially there's a lot more to him than just being on the dark side. He feels like a very real character, even though it's all set in this very fantastical world. I didn't really know Adam Driver was capable of really good acting, and apparently he is, because he kills it in this movie. But a really big plus for this movie is bringing in the new characters and mixing in with the old characters, especially Han Solo and a little bit of Leia. Harrison Ford does a really good job. You actually do feel like you're watching an old Han Solo, like not really watching Harrison Ford. And there is something kind of heartbreaking seeing him after all these years. Like, he's still Han Solo, but he's lived a life, and you really feel it. And no, I'm not gonna just sing praises of this movie, because there were some things that I was a little iffy on. Well, some people might be kind of about the fact that a lot of plot details or some events that happen in the movie are similar to what you've seen in the original trilogy. But that didn't really bother me because they do it kind of in a new way. It feels more of a revitalization than just kind of doing it over again. Plus you get caught up in the action and the excitement and the emotion, because there's a lot of emotion in this movie as well. But again, there are some plot details that are a little questionable. Again, can't get too much into it in this video, but if things are introduced, but then you're just like, why is it happening this way? Again, there's room for questions to be answered in the next two films, but it did feel a little bit at times that enough stuff wasn't really addressed or explained. I'm okay with some of the main stuff, some of the main questions that weren't answered. But it was more little things in the plot that were just a little questionable, but maybe they'll be addressed in the next two movies. I really hope so. And in terms of production, obviously, like, the movie looks great, but it really is a directing feat and a great cinematography feat. Like, the movie looks great, but in a unique, still in kind of a unique way. There are just some shots that you're just like, whoa. And I think that's also why practical effects was also really important. But you do feel like there's a good balance between practical effects and special effects. And that makes such a huge, huge difference. Yeah, it's in space and all this stuff is happening in lightsabers, but at the same time, it feels almost tangible because a lot of it is practical effects. No, it's not an absolutely perfect movie. Is it a fun movie? Yes. Is it an emotional movie? Yes. Is BB-8 adorable? Yes. And everyone pretty much involved just wanted to make a Star Wars movie and wanted to have the same spirit of the original, but bringing something new to it, something a little darker and more intense, but still really just Star Wars. And that's really just all we wanted and needed. Yeah, I know it's not a big surprise, but I'm gonna give Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, the stamp of absolute approval, which again is 5 stars. Again, this might not be the most comprehensive review or discussion on the movie because spoilers, but I wanted to make something where I could just talk about the movie and people can watch it who haven't seen it yet and hopefully will be encouraged to see it. But I really do plan on doing a spoiler review of the movie because there's so much I want to get into, and I will be able to really point out what I really, really liked about the movie and what I kind of didn't like or was a little disappointed by or just made me, you know, question stuff. Well, have you guys seen it? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, you know, no spoilers in the comments because this is a spoiler, you know, free zone. Okay guys, that's it for me. Hope you're having a great day and may the Force be with you. Toodles.